Hi everyone, it's Miss Champagne. Okay guys, I just wanted to do a quick video. I'm actually in another place and I'm about to teach my 7-year-old, I think he's 7-year-old student. He'll come in a few minutes, so I'm gonna make this very, very brief. Okay guys, so as you know, I'm a babysitter. I'm also an English teacher. So when I'm dressed like this, I'm going to English teach, but I wanna talk about babysitting right now. So this weekend, well actually yesterday, I teach a mother, well I don't teach a mother, I babysit two little sisters. So one is 5 and one is 4. And yesterday the mother asked me, she said, "Oh, is it okay if we add another kid to, to the babysitting mix?" And I was like, "Who?" And she said, "My friend's kid." And she was like, "And how much is it for a third kid?" And I was like, "Listen," I said, "First, is your friend registered with the babysitting agency? Because if she's not registered with the babysitting agency, I cannot babysit that child because I would be held responsible and reliable for any damages that happens to the kid. Because with babysitting agencies, they give you babysitting insurance for the child. So let's say you're with the kid for an hour and he falls, bam. He has to go to the hospital. You don't pay any of that. That would be the babysitting insurance. Now, if you do it on your own and a child falls, and remember, babysitting and English teaching are like separate. You have the English teaching where you're just teaching English. I do that for young kids, but then when you have a babysitting job, it's childcare. So childcare has to be covered by babysitting insurance. And if it's not, if the kid gets hurt, it's all on you. So I told her, I was like, no. I said, she has to register with the agency. So, okay. So I was considering what if I were to bring this new child into into the babysitting mix? But this new child, I've never met his mother, I never met him, and he's a boy. So it just doesn't seem quite like a good fix because I'm babysitting two little girls. And with little girls, we make tents, we act like we're going camping, so we're inside the tent and all that stuff, which is cool because I'm a woman. So it's a woman with two children, with two girl children, but adding a boy into that mix, I don't think it just doesn't seem right. I don't like babysitting kids who are not related. Now, if they're brother and sister, it's different, but these are not related siblings. So I would say, guys, if someone wants to add additional kids to your babysitting mix, if that was not the arrangement from the beginning, then you need to say no. And I'm going to give you a reason. Story number 1. Okay, so my first story is about two mothers who combined their kids together. So one mom had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and the other mom had 1 kid, 1 boy. So we added them together. Now, normally I charge $3,000, but that's gonna be going up. But for 3 kids, it would be like, let's say 3,500 or 1. Okay, I think on the website I said like, if it's 3 kids, it's like 3,500 each, 1,500 each, so it'd be 4,500. But I gave the mom, I gave one mom like 1 kid for free. So instead of paying, 4,500, they paid 3,000 together, which, was fine, but we did it twice a week. But what had happened is that one of the kids from the other mother, so you have the one with the 2 kids and one with the 1 kid. This 1 kid, he had gotten sick. And I stopped teaching the sibling of the other child. So we have 1-on-1, which means this one went to 0 because he got sick. This one was not sick. And I said, well, she still needs to have class if she's not sick. And the mom was like, okay, well, what's the price? And I was like, well, the price is what the price is. And she was like, well, I can't pay that. I was like, but that's what we agreed upon, regardless if the other kid is sick or not. So what ended up happening is that they made me really angry behind that because I had already given her a discount for her second child, but she didn't want to pay like the full amount because the 1 kid was sick. That's not my problem. And if both kids are sick, then I get it. But if one's sick, the other one's not, you book that time, you need to take class, So I just stopped teaching them, and she was very upset, but I had it with her. So that's story number 1. Story number mothers, it was 5 kids, 5 mothers. And what had happened is, although they didn't try to add anybody additional, the problem that I had, I should have just told them, listen, if it's regardless of who is not here or who isn't here, it's 5,000. So guys, just make sure whatever your contract is, it's this amount each time, regardless if there's 1 kid, regardless if it's 10 kids. So just make sure that if you're doing like a group contract, and it's not even really like a group of mothers and you want to do a contract, make sure that you get paid whatever it is, the amount, regardless of the kids. Because going back to my story from yesterday, what moms try to do, they'll be like, oh, well, okay, so my 2 kids are sick, but this one kid, he can have class, right? So I'm charging $2,500 for 2 kids. If I add a 3rd kid, technically that would be $3,000, right? But if these 2 kids go away and I charge $3,000, then technically this kid, in theory, would only pay $500. So do you see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't bring in additional people, because when the first people go away, the second people are going to expect to pay that same amount that they were paying when they came on as an additional client. So you need to make sure if people want to join, they need to be separate contracts. It's either you start all the way over from the beginning and you do it as a group contract and you say this is what it is each time regardless of how many kids show up, or you just don't do it and you just tell them they have to, like, their contract is a different contract. So with that kid, I would charge them $2,000, and with the other mother, I would still charge her $2,500, because it's like, no, I'm not doing that to myself again. And another thing, like I would say, if somebody wants to add kids to the mix, you're not a daycare center. This is babysitting, it's not daycare, you know? So you might want to just tell her no, and that you can babysit their kid because obviously you're in the same neighborhood, and I'll come and babysit him or her afterwards. So guys, sorry that was a bit of a long video, but guys, do you have any questions for me? Have you ever babysat before? Have you ever English taught before? The people trying to join your, your lessons later, and if they did they not want to pay? And whatever question you guys have for me, I'll be there for you. Okay, see you soon. Bye.